Welcome to TV Africa News. Thank you so much for joining us and always being part of us. This is Africa Today. My name is Nahabe Kajura, but first are the headlines. Germany donates 10 ventilators to Chirudu Hospital. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni details how NRA acquired 20,000 guns in a short time. African culture and style celebrated at Arise Fashion Week in Lagos. In our sports news today, former Uganda Cranes captain named head of coach at New York Red Bulls. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We start with one of our top stories. The Germany government yesterday donated 10 new ventilators to Chirudu National Referral Hospital to improve critical care services in the country.
The machines were handed over to the hospital management in the presence of the Minister of Health officials, led by Dr. Diana Twine, the Permanent Secretary, Emmanuel Ainebiona, the spokesperson, and Uganda's ambassador to Germany, Stephen Mubiru. Dr. Charles Kabugo, the executive director of the hospital, said a ventilator is a life support device that takes over the breathing process by pumping air into the lungs. It is very important for patients admitted to intensive care units with severe breathing difficulties. He said that these are not the first ventilators that the hospital is receiving, although these are a newer brand. Dr. Kabugo said the hospital already had more than 7 ventilators, but the ones that have been donated are a newer brand, which are more user-friendly and more sophisticated. Dr. Twine said these machines are going to transform lives and help increase the number of patients that are being admitted in ICU, because these machines being few limits the number of patients admitted in ICU at a time. Germany ambassador to Uganda, Matthias Secho, said the ventilators, worth 700 million shillings, are a means of deepening Germany's relationship with Uganda. He said there is a great need for ventilators in Uganda due to the high prevalence of infectious diseases with severe respiratory problems accompanying them.
Moving on, in our top stories, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has for the first time detailed how his National Resistance Army rebels were, in a period of less than 5 years, able to acquire 20,000 or so guns. Speaking during the 42nd Terehe Sita celebrations at Kacheka Stadium in Bara on Monday, Museveni said the botched attack on Kabamba barracks by his group at the start of the rebellion was a blessing in disguise for them. Museveni told the gathering that on Friday 6th, 1981 at 8 a.m. is when 43 of them with 27 rifles attacked a huge garrison of the Kabamba Military Training School to regain some of the 1,000 rifles Francois had handed to the joint force of UNLA after defeat of Amin. He added that although the attack itself didn't succeed, they collected out 40 rifles from the houses around, captured 8 lorries, were joined by some of the fighters like Anthony Chabale, successfully drove out fleet of vehicles and later camped at Budimbo. Explaining the nation of a blessing in disguise of the attempted attack on Kabamba, Museveni noted that 3 days after the incident, the alerted Obote of NRA's quest for power government troops would later attack them. Thank you so much, reporter. We'll take a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa at the Brighton. In international news, international supermodel Naomi Campbell was among the models on the catwalk at Rise Fashion Week in Nigeria. She was helping to showcase the talent and latest creations from African designers.
The high-profile event, which ran from 2nd to 4th February in Lagos, kicked off the continent's 2023 fashion season. Among the creations being shown at the high-profile event was clothing from Eki Kere collection. Abasi Kem Ukanre, the creative director at the fashion brand, said that the collection he was showcasing was his take in the future, or like in the next 100 years. The designers and fashion houses presented their latest collections to a diverse audience of industry professionals, buyers, journalists, and the general public. The event began originally as a music and fashion festival organized by Nigeria's This Day Media Group. The event has become a highlight of the global fashion calendar, celebrating culture and style from across Africa.
Thank you so much, reporter. Moving on, in international news, the family of former Burkina President Thomas Sankara announced on Saturday evening in a statement that they would not attend the burial of his remains. Burkina Faso government had announced that the body of Burkina, the nation's revered revolutionary leader Thomas Sankara, is to be buried alongside his 12 comrades at the spot where in 1987 they were assassinated. The family of Sankara had expressed their wish to see the remains of their relative buried elsewhere other than memorial site they tagged as conflicting and controversial. The bodies of Thomas Sankara and his 12 comrades were first buried in a cemetery on the outskirts of Ouagadougou and exhumed on 25th May 2015 for the purposes of legal proceedings. Thomas Sankara, a Pan-African icon, came to power in Akou in August 1983, 15th October 1987 by his number 2, Blaise Compaoré, and remained in power until a popular uprising led to his downfall in 2014. In April, the military coup in Ouagadougou sentenced him in absentia to life imprisonment for his role in the assassination of Thomas Sankara and his companions after a 6-month trial. Away from that, Togo, Benin, and Ivory Coast have already been struck by gunmen from across their northern borders, most recently in Benin, whose government has reported more 20 armed incursions since 2021. Now, Togo has suffered at least 5 attacks in that time, though not at all were confirmed by jihadists.
So far, Ghana has escaped a direct attack, but it is already tackling the economic and social fallout from the conflict to its north. Like its neighbors, Ghana struggles with porous borders, a weaker state presence in the north, chronic smuggling, and intercommunal tensions that can be a breeding ground for jihadism, says local leaders, officials, and experts. Ghana's government heeded the threat early. Experts and officials say opting for a comprehensive strategy of beefed up military presence and community outreach to ease tensions and support local populations. A French troop withdrawal from Mali in the face of mounting hostility and disputes with the ruling junta has refocused Western partners to aid Gulf of Guinea nations battle the war's southward spillover. British, US, and French officials met with Gulf of Guinea's governments in Accra in November to discuss increased cooperation, but with an eye on avoiding past multinational mistakes. President Nana Akufo-Addo has pushed for homegrown local cooperation with neighboring countries, though the Accra Initiative on joint military operations and intelligence sharing. But officials and local residents in North Ghana acknowledge the growing threat from militant groups operating just a few kilometers away.
Away from that, Mali's junta said on Sunday that it was expelling the head of Human Rights Division of MINUSMA, the UN mission there, giving him 48 hours to leave the country. The decision comes after a Malian rights activist last month denounced the security situation in the country in a speech to a UN gathering and accused the regime's new Russian military partners of serious rights violations. According to a statement issued by government spokesman Kano Abdoulaye Maiga, the foreign minister had declared Ngefa Andali, head of MINUSMA's human rights section, persona non grata. The statement, which was also read out on national television news, added that the measure came after the destabilizing and subversive actions of Andali. On January 27th, Aminata Diko criticized the regime at a special UN Security Council briefing on Mali. MINUSMA was set up in 2013 to try to stabilize Mali in the face of the growing threat from jihadist fighters. Its mission also included the protection of civilians, contributing to peace efforts and defending human rights. But the security situation has continued to deteriorate in the West African country. We take a quick break. We shall come back with business, health, and sports. Welcome back to the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In the business news today, in the last few months, there has been a low clientele base in Togo, which young entrepreneurs attributed to difficulties selling their products. Now, everything changed with the introduction of Abi Food and applications selling local products. We have more.
The increase is due to decision of young entrepreneurs to register their store on Dusa, a search platform for selling local products. The low interest for made-in-Togo products is partly due to the low accessibility of products in the markets. As a palliative, Doji Chala, a young Togolese digital entrepreneur, developed Dusa, an application that allows consumers to search for local product sales outlets near their home area. Today, thanks to his platform, more than 1,000 products have already been listed and a total of more than 400 local product sales outlets registered. Dusa also offers customers a framework for interaction with product promoters and information such as prices and availability of items. This digital solution gives hope to entrepreneurs of the Made in Togo and also offers a digital showcase for local products.
In a health news today, as data worldwide suggests the number of people with cancer is rising, some poor nations are looking to find alternative to cancer-causing fuel sources. We have more. Kenya has the introduction of solar-powered cookers which capture the sun's rays instead of using wood fires, which are blamed for 500,000 deaths. It uses mirrors to focus sunlight to a central point, and when it comes to cooking, it is an extremely cheap form of solar power. The parabolic cooker can be built easily and cheaply by the women using cement on a metal mesh which is covered with a mosaic of shiny mirrors. Its inventor, Kezia Ngugu, who is an environmentalist, said that since Kenyans live around the tropics, there is a lot of potential for cooking with the sun. Smoke from traditional firewood contains a complex mixture of gases and fine particles, and cancer specialists say there are clear links to cancer. Robert Montego, who is a radiation oncologist at HGC hospitals in Nairobi, said that smoke has been linked to some of the respiratory diseases and cancer of the lung. When the sun is not strong enough, conventional cooking fuels are needed, but the solar stove could go some way to reduce pollution and save lives. In a sports news today, next pro side New York Red Bulls has named former Uganda Cranes skipper Ibrahim Sekaja as its head coach for their inaugural season in MLS Next Pro. Now, Sekaja has been assistant coach at the United States club for 8 seasons and recently worked as interim head last season and was in charge of 17 matches in his capacity.
Sporting director Dennis Hamlet said that they know Sekaja will continue his hard work and dedication to improve in every facet of the club, adding that he had played a crucial role in the development of Red Bulls too, in addition to his success as a player with the main club. The former KCCA defender, who also featured for RB Salzburg in Austria, as well as having a long stint in Argentina, has been at the club since his retirement as a player in 2015. Head coach Ibrahim Sekaja said that he was thrilled to continue his journey with the New York Red Bulls organization and lead New York Red Bulls too to success. The bald-headed former centre-back is a winner as he lifted the 3 Austrian Football Bundesliga titles between 2008 and 2012 and was also part of the team that won the 2012 Austrian Cup. He joined the New York Red Bulls in July of 2013 and spent 2 seasons with the club. Sekaja was part of the 2013 Red Bulls team that clinched the club's first ever Supporters' Shield.
It is at this particular time that I thank you for being with us. Adora is joining us. Don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We should keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.